Yeet Melon says, when will the before you ride of Flying Fish be? It better be soon. Well, let's do it now then, shall we? Hello and welcome to ScrewyLoops, and this is the next episode of Before You Ride. We are now frying the flying fish, and it's going to taste very nice with a bit of lemon, and it's well worth a 100+ minute wait. And is it worth making a trip to the UK from, say, Afghanistan? Yes, of course it is. Flying fish is excellent, and it makes me cry every time. Backseat Blackout fan account says, best roller coaster with theming. I haven't been on it yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be something like Hagrid's Motorbike Adventures. It looks insane. Like, looking at the pictures, it looks brilliant. Out of the ones I've been on, I'm going to have to say Expedition Everest in Disney's Animal Kingdom. I mean, they spent, what was it, $100 million on the whole thing, mountain included. It looks crazy. Josh JFTW, what's your favourite ride at Blackpool Pleasure Beach and Alton Towers? My favourite ride at Blackpool Pleasure Beach would be Valhalla, and my favourite ride at Alton Towers would be Nemesis. Zach Mackin, what was the first coaster you have been on? The first big coaster I'd say is Shockwave at Drayton Manor. It's the first time I ever went upside down, and it was a standing coaster. I don't think it's that great now, thinking back on it, but it was great to the point where it introduced me to a lot larger coasters. Vinnie Harrison, do you prefer Alton Towers or Thorpe Park? By the way, I love your videos. Cheers, Vinnie, man. Big shout out to you. It's a tough choice. I think Alton Towers definitely has a bit more personality, if you get what I mean. It's got a bit more magic overall. But Thorpe Park's got a nice lineup of coasters and flat rides as well. Probably a better balance actually at Thorpe Park. But I'm going to have to say Alton Towers. Alan Stoddart, do you think that the Grand National at Blackpool Pleasure Beach should be renewed / given more comfortable seats? Over the last few years I've realised that it's starting to show a lot of wear and tear, but I would be devastated to see it go. I don't think Grand National's going anywhere soon, but I would love to see a retracking maybe, like smoothing out some of the transitions. It is a very bumpy coaster, and yeah, of course, better trains too, be more comfortable. Just don't ruin the restraints. I kind of like the fact that you can have a bit of slack on that thing. Ben Chadwick, what is better, Wicker Man or 13? 100% Wicker Man. Adam Durrani, top 10 or 5 rides I ever. And by the way, I went on the Riddler 8 times, it was fun. Also, what rides have you been on that made you were nervous for, or coaster you want to go on in the future? The top 10 or 5 rides ever, again, this will probably be a video I'll do in the future because it's very hard to think of this straight off the spot. Riddler looks awesome, by the way. Rides that made me nervous. I was very, very nervous when I went on Falcon's Fury at Busch Gardens. It's basically a 300-foot drop tower, but it tilts you 90 degrees and drops you to the floor. In the end of it, it was fine, but anything that drops you, yeah, definitely makes me nervous. Infinite Drums YouTube, tips for first time at theme parks. I think the best thing to say really is to just give everything a try once. I mean, you might look at something and think, yeah, it's a bit too scary for me, but if you haven't done it yet, then definitely give it a go. That's probably my biggest tip. And also make sure to get on everything you want to go on. Like, leave a lot of the filler attractions to the end, or maybe after lunch, because, you know, some of the bigger rides are a bit heavy on the tummy. Icarus is Falling says, favourite roller coaster or ride at each park you've been to? Again, that's going to be a very large list. I might have to do a video on that, so look out for that one. Lauren Myatt, what is your favourite roller coaster you have ever been on? And that's Taron at Phantasialand. It's just lovely. Nick Cox, what's the best dark ride you've ever been on? This is a toss-up between Flight of Passage at Disney's Animal Kingdom, which is the Avatar one, if you class that as a dark ride, or maybe the Green Lantern at Warner Bros. World Abu Dhabi. Similar to Flight of Passage, it's just so immersive and it really blows your mind. Ben, if Thorpe were to receive a new permanent hotel, what would you want it to be themed to? There's only one answer for this: flying fish. Re18, What's your favourite type of coaster? Inverted, flying, etc. I think from my experience, I'd probably go with a Blitz coaster by Intamin. They've just got the best of everything on them. And if it's got like the similar restraints you'd get on Taron, the lap bars, man, every Blitz coaster would be perfect. Big Tasty Plays says launch or chain lift or both. I'd definitely say launch. I think because especially after Formula Rossa, it just completely blew my mind what a launch can do to the human body. I couldn't breathe. I literally got to the end of that launch, 149 miles an hour. My mouth was open. My cheeks were like this. And man, I kind of blacked out, but it was due to suffocation. Zachary Nolan, what's your favourite type of coaster? Like, do you prefer an invert or a wing, or just a standard good old Woody? Like I said, the Intamin Blitz coasters are my favourite. I do love a good Woody though. I think Woody's are probably second for me. A good GCI Woody. And Zachary Nolan again, what's your favourite inversion? Like, do you prefer going through a corkscrew or vertical loop? Which one do you like the most? I think the most impressive inversion I've experienced was a pretzel loop on a flying coaster. I mean, it's not the most pleasant, but like if you're at the back, for example, Manta at SeaWorld, you kind of like, you go up like that and then you dive onto your back and then you come back up and go back onto your front. But when you're on your back, Jesus Christ, it feels like your chest's caving in. So yeah, I'd probably say pretzel loop due to its intensity, but due to fun, I'd say a good old-fashioned vertical loop. Lewis Parker, favourite manufacturer? Intamin. Planet Coaster Crazy, what do you see yourself doing in 5 years? Still riding coasters? Hopefully yes, and making more videos here, and maybe have a family as well, so that'd be nice. Tom Q, do you like cheesecake? I like cheesecake. I like strawberry cheesecake. I like toffee cheesecake. I like pot noodle cheesecake. Iconic G, #1 bucket list coaster, Maverick. The Spanish Potato, what's the worst coaster you've ever ridden? Oh, worst coaster. Maybe Primeval Whirl at Disney's Animal Kingdom. I think it's because Disney has such a quality. I mean, you got like, at Disney, you've got Expedition Everest. You got some, you know, they spent $100 million on this insanely massive, well-themed coaster. Then you got a Revicon spinning mouse in the same park. It makes absolutely no sense. Coaster King, do you enjoy Fright Night, Scarefest, horror attractions? I do. Very recently though, because it's always been something I've been a bit wary of. I've never really been the bravest, let's say that, but I've done a few scare events this year, like Tully's, Extreme Scream Park, which was excellent, Fright Nights, Warsaw Scare Maze is really good as well. It's been my highlight this year. Bread Dog, worst roller coaster experience? I think I had a ride on Furious Baco a long time ago. It's going back a few years, and I sat on the outside seat towards the back. And this is a coaster I usually really enjoy, but I could feel my insides physically falling apart. It wasn't a pleasant experience. I was just literally like this all the way around too. I've never felt anything like that. And shout out goes to Kraken Unleashed at SeaWorld Orlando when we had the VR on. I didn't realise how rough that coaster was going to be. So like, as we hit the bottom of the first drop, it was just bouncing off my nose, and I come off, I had a bruise there on my nose because of the VR kept bouncing off it. I'm kind of glad they've got rid of the VR on that. It wasn't pleasant at all. Coaster King, what ride is worth marathoning at Alton Towers? I'm going to say the Smiler, because I'm planning to marathon it myself. Maisie plays Roblox. What is your favourite theme park? Please answer this question. Well, I'm going to answer this question right now, and it is Phantasialand at Germany. I'm not your dad, okay. This picture looks like a Hot Wheels set I had as a kid. I'd scroll up, I'll lose what question I'm on. Yeah. Hybrid MC, what's your favourite ride in the world and why? Taron, because it just does everything right. You got some really good launches, excellent airtime, stacks and stacks of G-force, And did I say how good the theming was? Oh my god, the theming is insane. Alton Towers fanboy, what is the worst coaster that you have been on with good theming? That is a very good question. I'd probably say Flying Fish, because you've got a shed on there. I can class that as theming. There's a little pond. I don't know. That's a really tough question. That's one I'd like to do as a video actually. I might do like 7 best coasters with worst theming or something. Theme Kid, have you ever been on Fifth Dimension at Chessington? I don't think I have. I've never heard of that one. That's interesting. Why haven't I heard that one? I'm a theme park YouTuber. I should know about this shit. Nightmare Dolphin, what do you prefer, airtime or inversions? I like a bit of both really. I think airtime mainly because it's just got that out of control feeling where you just feel like you're going to fly out. But there are some really good inversions too which are crazy, like the pretzel loop on flying coasters and zero G rolls, stuff like that. I think airtime overall though. Scotland, out of Galactica and Rita, which ride would you prefer to be removed from Alton Towers first and why? I'd probably say Rita, because I think they can do a much better job with the launch coaster. And it's not a bad coaster at all. I enjoy Rita. It's got some really good airtime moments. The launch is brilliant. It's very intense. Probably the most intense coaster in the park. But I'd like to see an Intamin Blitz coaster, personally. So get rid of the hydraulic launch and get an Intamin Blitz in there with a longer layout. I'd love that. Ryder Coonan, what influenced you to become a YouTuber in general and why roller coasters? What was the first one you've rode? I've always had a YouTube account, so I've been on YouTube since the age of 12. I've kind of just grown into YouTube, but the channels that inspired me to become more of a YouTube channel, like more of a professional one, I'd say, like working a bit harder on it, is there's a lot of gaming channels I enjoy. I love Kadikarus, channels like that, where they do kind of, they're very, very passionate about gaming and they make it funny and enjoyable. So, carrying on for Ryder's question, what was the first one I rode? The first major one I rode was Shockwave. The first roller coaster that got me into roller coasters was Nemesis. I come off Nemesis and that was it. I was like, wanted every roller coaster tycoon game you could get your hands on, and I just wanted to do this kind of YouTubing stuff like I do now. RLBDRO802 says, what are your favourite coasters at Alton Towers, Fort Park and Blackpool Pleasure Beach? It'll be Nemesis at Alton Towers, Stealth at Fort Park, and it'll be Icon at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. This one's from SBS7777Y_new, great name by the way. What is your favourite launched coaster? Not classing Intamin Blitz, because obviously Taron's my favourite coaster. I've definitely got to say Formula Rossa at Ferrari World, because that launch is ridiculous, and then the rest of the coaster is really great. So much speed, some nice pops of airtime. It's a really, really good coaster. Since the Third says, will Drayton Manor finesse UK theme parks and get an RMC? I'll tell you what, I'd be backing them all the way if they did. That's the problem with Drayton Manor. They haven't invested much in the thrill market for a very long time, and the fact G-Force is going, and that was the last major thrill coaster that they opened, and that was back in, like, that's got to be about 2005 surely. It would be nice to see them build something new. So fingers crossed, you never know, they might get an RMC. Even if it was a small RMC, I'd be happy with that. Aria Newton, will you do a before you ride the Smiler video? It's right here in this card. It's probably here behind me on the telly as well. You can watch it while I'm talking about these questions. So Jason Labdon, when is the UK going to get a goddamn RMC? I'm just looking at Fort Park. Everyone keeps saying RMC Fort Park, and surely they are listening to us. Regina Phalange, have you been to Leesburg? If yes, what's your favourite ride? If no, would you like to go, and which ride do you like the look of most? I've never been to Leesburg. It's been one park that I've planned many, many times, but it's never happened. I'm pretty sure next year I'll definitely be getting to this park. Which ride I like the look of the most? It's got to be Helix. Helix looks awesome. Drax03. What do you think the next Thorpe Park roller coaster will be? An RMC or hypercoaster? I think the likelihood would be more an RMC just because of the boom lately that there's. I mean, like you saw the new one at Wallaby Holland, Untamed, and you got Zadra, and then you got Iron Gwazi coming to Busch Gardens. I'm pretty sure Thorpe Park have got their eye on RMC. And all us enthusiasts keep begging and shouting about an RMC, so hopefully they listen. If not, then I don't know, might get a Pinfari looping coaster, Revacon spinning mouse. I don't know, I'll have a look. Coaster countdowns. What is the most intense coaster you have ever ridden? Most intense coaster. I think out of sheer unexpectedness, I'd probably say Formula Rossa at Ferrari World. I mean, the launch isn't snappy as like Stealth, but once you get to the end of the launch, you're hitting 149 miles per hour. There's no feeling like that on any other coaster. It is ridiculous, and I was suffocating so much because the air was entering my mouth like that. I actually saw stars, like I was basically blacking out because of the lack of oxygen. It's a crazy ride, and then the rest of it is so much sustained G-forces, so much. Yeah, I'd probably say Formula Rossa. Coaster countdowns again. What are the top coasters with the best airtime you have ridden? It's definitely got to be a toss-up between Megaphobia at Oakwood. That is ridiculous airtime, ridiculous. I'd say Taron has definitely got some really, really good airtime moments, especially the first one. Flying Aces, that's got some pretty good airtime as well in Ferrari World. Mako at SeaWorld, and of course Shambhala at Portaventura. Those are just a few. There's some good coasters out there with airtime. Amy Pond, what is your favourite Alton Towers ride? Fun fact. I think my favourite fun fact is when they was building Oblivion, they had to dig a 110-foot tunnel, and at the bottom, because of the rain, it flooded, so they had to get boats in the tunnel and basically work on the roller coaster foundations and the tunnel on boats. Yeah, probably that one. Carson Smith, what are your thoughts on the Syrian war? Brady Schultz, what's your favourite roller coaster? Taron. Boom. Bo Martin, what is your favourite coaster in Europe? Love your vids, by the way. Cheers, dude. My favourite coaster in Europe is Taron. Boom. Again. Party Planet, what's your top 5 coasters and what do you think is the best themed roller coaster? Top 5 coasters I'll leave for another video, but the best themed roller coaster I have been on is a toss-up between Taron at Phantasialand and Expedition Everest in Disney's Animal Kingdom. Kill A, theme park battles. Gotcha Gang, do you think the Flying Fish is better than Stealth? I think it is. I think it is as well. I mean, if Flying Fish had a top hat, it'll definitely be better than Stealth. Vibe Team Venom, worst roller coaster you've ever ridden and best flat ride you've been on. Worst roller coaster I've ever ridden is probably something like Hero at Flamingo Land, or Primeval Whirl, as I mentioned earlier, at Disney's Animal Kingdom. The best flat ride I've been on is probably Talican at Phantasialand. Pardy, Arrow Mega Looper or Vekoma SLC? Which would you rather ride? I'd probably say Arrow Mega Looper because I haven't actually been on one. But yeah, and Vekoma SLCs, them all the same, really. T Holmes, which do you prefer, the Smiler or Colossus? 14 loops or 10 loops, which record breaker? I'd definitely say the Smiler, 100%. In fact, 114%. T Holmes again, which do you prefer, Stealth or Rita? 205% Stealth. Vortex Coasters, what is your favourite B&M coaster in England? Nemesis, of course. Lucia Olzak, Alton Towers or Thorpe Park? Alton Towers. It's just Anna. Have you been to Alton Dungeons? If so, did you enjoy it? I did enjoy it. It was really good. I've done it a few times now. General Bacon, what's your favourite American park? Out of all the parks I've been to, it's a toss-up between Busch Gardens, Tampa, because of the lineup of roller coasters, really, and Universal. I'll just clash Universal both parks together because they've just got the best all-round themed rides, best thrill coasters. It's an awesome park. Ethan Pendleton. What coaster inspired you to become an enthusiast? Love your videos. Cheers, Ethan. The coaster that inspired me to become an enthusiast was Nemesis at Alton Towers. I'll just come off it thinking, if there's more coasters like this out there, I want to know. And from there, I'll just kind of signed up to Coaster Force, which is this forum. You might know Coaster Force from YouTube, but originally it was just a website. And literally got to know loads of new coasters and got to meet loads of friends, and from then on I've become an enthusiast. Ali Flint, has there ever been a coaster that you regret riding or really disliked? I kind of regret riding, I believe it was Velociraptor at IMG Worlds of Adventure. Not necessarily a bad ride, but it was a Mack launch coaster, a Clown of Blue Fire. And I just found it so boring. It literally didn't do anything. And it gave me a really sour impression on Mack launch coasters because Icon was the only other one I did before then. And I had similar thoughts on that. I thought the first half of Icon was very, very underwhelming. It was a bit slow. Just no force to it. And Velociraptor was pretty much, from start to finish, the first half of Icon. It was so underwhelming. So probably that in the fact that it kind of left a sour taste on me for Mack coasters. Jan, what is your opinion about Efteling? I've never actually been. I've never been swayed to go. I would go if I was nearby the area, maybe visiting another park. It looks great. It's great theming. The coasters don't particularly interest me, nor the rides. I think it's very Disney-ish. So that's my opinion on Efteling. I know for sure I'll have to go at some point, but I've never been that swayed for it. So this kid is crying says, what do you think the best coaster for 2020 will be? Possibly Iron Gwazi, I think, or maybe Orion, not Orion, Orion. But if Fly does open at Phantasialand, then that could easily be the top coaster. It's definitely a toss-up between those three. RSLVD, why did you decide to change your YouTube username? I did actually do a video on this, so video is up on the corner. I think it's here, it flips the screen when I'm recording, so card up here for that video. The reason was because Backseat Blackout started off as a bit of a kind of a comedy channel where we just kind of, it wasn't a serious channel, and basically ScrewyLoops is a bit more focused on videos from inside my house, recording scripted videos. So yeah. Alfie Meads, what's your 5 most missed rides in the UK and why? I'll probably say check out the video on this card again. I know I'm being lazy, I've done this video before. It's 5 past UK coasters that we would really like to ride now, basically. And Alfie Meads again, what's the one ride that got you into theme parks and roller coasters? And that is Nemesis again. Vinnie Harrison, will you do a top 20 UK coasters video? I will eventually. Things like that are very difficult to do because the variety of coasters, mainly in the UK. I mean, there's some family coasters which are excellent, but I'll probably get overshadowed by a lot bigger coasters like Nemesis and the Smiler, for example. So I'd probably do a video of the 7 best. I might do a top 7. I'll get to it eventually. I need to ride, what's it called? I need to ride the ones at Fantasy Island before I can really make a judgment on that. So Vinnie Harrison again, what is your favourite themed area at a theme park in the UK? I would probably say, I believe it's the Land of Dinosaurs at Paultons Park. I love that area. Such a cool area. Keelan Morris, favourite person to collaborate with? I mean, everyone I've collaborated with have been great. Like Coasterbot, Pleasure Beach Experience. You know who you are, Jack Silkstone. I think the one person I've clicked with the most is Airtime John. We just kind of bounced ideas off us like that. And it was so fun doing the 7 craziest airtime moments in UK coasters video. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, I'd definitely say Airtime John, just the fact we just click. Zach Mackin, what coasters made you interested about coasters? Again, that is Nemesis. Crystal Games Chicken, what ride would you personally love for Alton Towers? What ride? I'd love to see like a ride like Talakan, so a top spin, like the new era top spins where it's have more theming, more fire, water, just get all them effects on it, make it really cool. Theme Park Tom, do you see a future for Impossible at Blackpool Pleasure Beach? I do agree it is feeling kind of dated, but it's got that charm to it. The building it's in, it's quite a big building, so it would have a lot of space for a new ride there. I'm not really sure. I can't really comment on that, but I think yes, no, who knows? Carsio Man, is Legoland UK a good theme park worth going to? It's a great family park, I'm just going to say that. If you've never been to a Legoland before, then definitely go to Legoland Windsor. You might find some surprising rides there. The rapids there is wild, it's so fast. And the Dragon Coaster, it's good fun, some really good indoor theming on that as well. Durkakadu? Durkakadu? Is that how you say it? What is your #1 bucket list coaster? And that is probably like Maverick at Cedar Point or something like that. THTS, Hulsey. Out of 10, what would you rate the Smiler? I would rate it a solid 9. I'd probably say 9. I think it's it does have its flaws, but it is a very impressive coaster, and there's nothing like it in the world, so it definitely stands out, and I think a 9 is a good rating for that. Joseph Batchelor, what coaster do you want to ride the most that's not Steel Vengeance? I'm not going to keep saying Maverick. I'm going to say Lightning Rod at, is it Dollywood? I think it's Dollywood. There's got this triple airtime, well, it's like a quadruple down bit and then into like that hoverbank. A launch lift hill, man, it looks sick. It's a really good RMC, you need to check it out. Ride facts. First coaster you've ever been on, one I can remember, first thrill coaster was Shockwave at Drayton Manor. Hangtime Studios, if you could bring any coaster in the US to the UK, which one, where and why? Must follow park height and space restrictions. Wow, this is going to be a tricky one. So there's a nice little island just located by the Swarm at Fort Park, which I'd love to see a small RMC like Twisted Timbers to go there. It's not the biggest island, it's about as big as the Swarm area, so something that'll fit in that space. I'll probably say Twisted Timbers. Hangtime Studios again, what's the best inversion? Best inversion? Can't go wrong with the vertical loop. Pretzel loop is also awesome. And Hangtime Studios, what is the most intense element you've been on? Other than Formula Ross's launch, because of how ridiculous it is, I'd probably say the pretzel loop on Manta, just because it's like, it kind of crushes your chest, it's that intense. And the airtime hill on Speed at Oakwood, it's that quick, it just literally sends stars into my eyes. Hangtime Studios again, would you rather be able to instantly go to Alton Towers and get on any ride instantly and never go to any parks in the UK, or have any Vekoma ride in your back garden but only be able to ride Vekomas? I'd probably say Alton Towers, because you're not restricting me to European and American parks. I mean, I'd miss some of the coasters around here, but yeah. Hangtime Studios again, if you could RMC any coaster, which one? This is such an easy one for me, and I know they've recently retracted with GCI, but it still feels like a bag of crap, in my opinion. I'm sorry if this offends anyone, but Stampeder at Portaventura definitely could do with the RMC treatment, and I think that is a coaster I could easily see appearing at a park like Portaventura, so yeah. Hangtime Studios again, if you had the chance to make a dream coaster, who would make it, what model, what's the theme, and in which park? I'd probably go with an Intamin Blitz and get rid of, it sounds really bad, get rid of Congo River Rapids, but make an Intamin Blitz. And it's not, it doesn't even have to go above the tree height, but they're built into the ground a bit more, a bit like Nemesis. And it doesn't need to have any inversions, just airtime, bank corners, and just interactions with the scenery. I'd love to see something like that at Alton Towers, that'd be perfect.